Hi guys, I feel that over 8 months without my videos is way too much and I came to save you. Several times in media I have seen some abstract descriptions of Dark Envoy, so my goal today is to give you the most important ideas about this indie RPG that definitely deserves attention. I have spent a lot of hours in the release version already and previous game title from those developers, so I definitely have useful information to share. First of all, the game was developed by the indie studio Event Horizon from Poland, with almost 30 employees. Before Dark Envoy, they created Tower of Time, a pretty similar RPG with specifics that was focused on dungeon exploration. While Dark Envoy provides us the ability to visit different locations with a variety of enemies and environments. Game also had a similar battle system, but it was focused on fights in small arenas, while Dark Envoy gives us more freedom in that aspect. But let's start with the story, as gameplay features need more detailed coverage later in this video. Game is highly story-oriented. We have a world where old races, led by elves, fight against the human empire that highly uses technology and harms nature and environment by their actions. And elves are also not sincere, and there are different shadows, elementals and other creatures that are on guard of different dungeons and locations, and always ready to protect it. And where we have several reasonable opinions, there is always some choice, hard decisions and results of such decisions. And I talk not only about main story missions. The game have a crazy number of choices through even side missions, and we always see the results of our choices. We gave a chance to some thief, don't be surprised if you find him with new gang after several hours in game. You decided to return an artifact to a small elf settlement, you can expect some help from them later through the game. Game is full of that, and I can really confirm that it is performed on a good level with passion from the developers. Battle system is not usual. We have here real-time combat, pause mode and mode with 12% game speed, and that is our choice to pick any of those at any moment of the fight. And that is supported by a flexible difficulty system, as we have 5 different options, and as a person who tried 3 hardest of them, I can confirm that it highly affects game pacing. But you need to know that from my personal impressions, game is closer to action RPG with tactical elements than to classical tactical RPG. There are several reasons. First, there are a tons of enemies. Most of them don't have some real specifics, so they don't normally need any special approach to kill them. Second, in most fights enemies have reinforcements that come from different sides of the battlefield, chaotically, that practically destroy the positioning part of the game. Surely we can hold position and try to play tactics here, but a huge amount of area of effect attacks all the time force us to move and actively destroy enemies. And third reason, there is a cover system where we have bonuses for using it, but there are tons of enemies with huge range of their attacks. That is just not reasonable in most events to deny the fact that the game is focused on action combat, even on high difficulty, and we have to move all the time. To make it work, we have 4 different classes with 3 subclasses for each of them, that will be available through game progress. At the same time, each class and subclass have an insane amount of skills, so there is a real choice. The sad part here is that we can pick only 4 passive skills and 5 active skills, so in most events your heroes will be strictly focused on some function. There is also stats system that provides not only basic bonuses but special bonuses upon a certain number of points invested. And we can always reset skill point allocation and stats as well. We also have trading, crafting, enchanting that works totally fine. And there are research points that help in those aspects and also provide bonuses to battles. But I want to focus on several main ideas that I want to share about this game. Fights are fun and active in most events. The sad part here is that they become repetitive, as you will find some good combinations that fit your style and in fact will use it over and over again. And even resetting skills and stats doesn't always help to get a real passion to fights. Enemies' visuals are good, but the mechanics I met were not really satisfying and led to pretty similar pacing in each of those fights. Same with bosses. They are more healthy and complex, but didn't really impress. To make this aspect better, there is a system that allows our heroes to act without our involvement, but that system works not perfectly. It was pretty often that heroes were found by doing nothing in the middle of the fights. Second important moment is loot and leveling. Developers did a great job by giving a huge amount of experience upon each story quest, which means that you will get level ups all the time. But at the same time, that decreases engagement from killing enemies, because while they give you experience, almost all the time your levels are linked to the moment you finish a quest in town. Similar situations with loot, as we have chests with good items, and we have enemies that in 99% of situations just drop gold and nothing useful. Unfortunately, that breaks that passion that you may have in a similar game where you can drop some valuable item and feel real excitement. And last moment I want to say is that despite those two first moments, I really enjoyed my time in that game. Yes, it had bugs. My top graphic card failed to perform ideally due to weaker other components, but game story, music and skill customization made me pretty happy through the game process, even despite it doesn't feel like a deep tactical game and more like an action RPG with fun, but a superficial concept. And I have one advice to you. Use different difficulty settings to make the game funnier. On highest difficulty it is interesting, but sometimes too boring to spend so much time playing on slow speed. On normal it is just way too easy, but sometimes you just need that feeling of killing 20 enemies within 10 seconds. I know that feeling. That is my personal advice to get real pleasure from that RPG, created with passion. That in many aspects is indie, but at the same time has a soul, which many other titles may lack. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this time with me here. Please subscribe and put like button if that was a good time. And see you soon in new reviews. By the way, you're always welcome to suggest games you're interested to see here. And have a great week. I hope that my positive vibes will make you happier today. See ya!